kind of like the push that I needed when I heard it. And I was like, yeah, I am annoyed that Bristol doesn't have a coffee festival. Someone needs to do it. It's going to be me. And then I booked this place and I started telling people without anything. I just sent the email to make the reservation. I didn't pay the deposit, anything. I just started telling people that it was happening. Telling a lot of people, like in Manchester Coffee Festival, that I was going to do Bristol and giving the date. 9th of September 2023 is happening. If you tell people, it's kind of like unwritten promise that you make with the universe. Yeah, I'm going to tell everyone. So I was like, I need to do it. I can't go back in my decision. And this is how Bristol Coffee Festival was born. I had no idea. I just had the will. I will make it work. I don't know how, but I will make it work. I did Bristol Coffee Festival as the festival that I would like to attend. I was more like, no, this is my festival. Nobody's going to come here and tell me how to do things. I know how I want. The festival is my side hustle. The festival is not here to make money, it's to make something happen. Because I'm not driven by the profits, I also need to be protective with my values and my time.
Hey, Joanna.
Hey, Rosie.
So nice to see you.
Nice to see you too.
I would normally start by being like, how are you? But I feel a bit like, it feels like a kind of silly question to ask because we're 3 weeks?
3 weeks to the festival.
3 weeks away from Bristol Coffee Festival. We are here in the Bristol Beacon, which is where the coffee festival will be taking place.
Yes.
How are you? If it's okay to ask.
I think 3 is a good number. It's the average of hours that I'm sleeping per night. So
I'm sorry to laugh. That's actually not funny.
I
I'm
know,
sure that's true. Juggling everything.
Oh my God, yeah. I am fine. It's hard. It's the most hard period of my year for sure, because of course it's like juggling the kids, work, my house. That is a tip at the moment.
That's fine.
Sometimes even like space to walk, because of course in this time started arriving like boxes with merch and stuff.
Yep.
But I am fine. I'm fine.
Because also, just to say, on top of work and unpaid work, i.e., just general life, that Bristol Coffee Festival is a that's just on top of that. You know, this is not your full-time job.
No,
it's it feels a bit rude saying side hustle.
It is, but it like my husband always say that I need a hobby, because he says that my hobby is work.
Right. Okay.
Because even before Bristol Coffee Festival, my days off were filled with like going to coffee shops and talking to baristas about coffee.
Sure.
And,
yeah. I can relate.
Taking my friends to have a coffee, and you understand. So it's like everything is around that. So Bristol Coffee Festival definitely it's my side hustle. It's a challenge one. It's a tiring one, but it is.
So, it's happening in 3 weeks. So thank you for being here. I did feel a little bit rude actually asking you at this time, because I'm in Bristol doing a couple of interviews and was like, it feels a little bit too close to. So thanks for making time for me and to be a part of this. I don't. If the best place to start is maybe, do you mind telling us how Bristol Coffee Festival became a thing? If we can start there, and then we'll get further back as we go.
In 2021, right post-pandemic, if we can say that, because it was like still like the pandemic still a thing at the time. The Bristol Loaf, where I was working as head of coffee, was opening a shop in the Bristol Beacon, and we were looking to have events here to make people aware we were here. And then at the same time, the Coffee House project that used to be the Coffee Festival in Bristol for 2 years, it happened in 2018, 2019, and 2020 end up happening online because of the pandemic.
Sure.
In 2021, they decided to stop it, and there's they posted saying they were handing it over for whoever wanted it. So I was like, oh, I have a space that I can take over. Let me see if I can make it work. And I spoke to my boss, and he was like, oh, let's do this year. And this was July, and he wanted to do in September. And I was like, no, we can't do in 2 months, but we can think of doing next year. So I tried to contact the ladies that he used to run it, and I didn't manage to get a hold of them. But I put the idea in my head, and I couldn't take it out of my head. So I kept thinking about it and thinking, and at some point I was like, someone needs to do it. And I remember Camilla Morgan, at some point when she joined the SCCA, she had a conversation with me that she said, I was criticizing the SCCA a lot, but not doing anything effectively to change things. So I decided to join to do it. And there was kind of the push that I needed when I heard it. And I was like, yeah, I am annoyed that Bristol, the Southwest, doesn't have a coffee festival, while the whole country has one, and that we are one of the main specialty coffee hubs in the UK. Someone needs to do it. It's going to be me. And then I booked this place, and I started telling people without anything. I just sent the email to make the reservation. I didn't pay the deposit, anything. I just started telling people that was happening. And it's kind of if you tell people, it's kind of unwritten promise that you make with 100%. The universe.
Yes.
And then I was like, yeah, I'm going to tell everyone. So I was like, I need to do it. I can't go back in my decision. And this is how Bristol Coffee Festival was born.
I feel exactly the same. And it's funny because when I was planning this project thinking about it for years, and then started planning it properly at the start of the year, and the scariest thing for me was telling my boyfriend, because I knew, so he was the first person that I told, and I was I knew that if I told him, there was no way I was gonna not do it. And it was funny because when I did the first recording a month ago, he was really sweet, and afterwards he was like, oh, I'm really proud of you for making this happen and everything, and he was like, a lot of people kind of say these things and then never do them, and it's just a dream somewhere, and they just, it's too much effort or whatever, or something else comes up and I said to him, I was like, no, the fact that I told you means then there's no other option, it has, and that for me was the scariest part of all of this. It was okay, telling him, because it's solidified, and then I'm okay, well, this is locked in now, even though nothing's locked in, it's I've told you, so it's locked in. And then I kept it got less scary every time I told someone, and every time I told someone, and I'd have this kind of validation of them going, oh, that's something I'd really love to listen to, or oh, that's such a cool thing, and such a great idea. Then you go, oh, okay, and then it's it's kind of, it makes it all move forward. Was that a similar thing for you?
Absolutely. Also, just one note.
Yeah.
First season of the podcast.
I think there's a bit of an inside joke that we now have to, just, Joe, I did a sorry, I'm making this about me now. I did a podcast recording and shoot with the lovely Esther yesterday, and Joanna replied to a story that I put up on Instagram and said like that you were.
I was excited to be in the first season.
In the first season, and I was like,
your podcast.
This is now making it feel like a whole thing, which is amazing. And I was like, yeah, thinking about it being like season 1 is really cool that like someone else is imagining that as well. So thank you, because that did mean a lot as well. I was like, okay, this is
what
like
I believe, and it's what I'm telling people. I'm in the first season of Rosie's podcast. As like it's a big thing, because I'm feeling like it is a big thing.
I mean, thank you. That makes me feel like it sounds like some sort of like Netflix documentary or something, which is great. It's fantastic. Anyway,
yes.
Stop talking about me.
But yeah, it was how I felt. I remember telling Dan Fallows in Manchester Coffee Festival in 2022 that I was going to do Bristol. Okay. And he was working with Slayer in the festival, and he was like, the first, because he was in Coffee House Project before, and he was like, oh, the festival that he was there was so nice, and I was like, things like, okay, I told someone really important in the coffee industry, I can't go back.
Yeah.
You understand? But I was doing it a lot. I was telling a lot of people, like in Manchester Coffee Festival, that I was going to do Bristol, and giving the date 9 of September 2023 is happening, because it was the day that I booked here. But it's how it was born. I had no idea how to do that. I just had the will to do. You understand? Like I wanted to do. I wanted to make it happen. And I was like, I will make it work. I don't know how, but I will make it work.
And what do you think is that process for you of like how you start working out how, because also just to say, you're doing this single-handedly in terms of actually the whole part. You've got people that help you know, along the way, but like you don't have a team helping you like throughout the year. This is you, just to clarify, because that won't be obvious to people. But is there like a kind of methodology that you have in terms of working out, okay, this and this, or just running at it?
It's like, I believe, like maturity, not just like on myself, but with the festival itself, happens naturally. So it's like, from the first year to now, I have like a lot of more spreadsheets. I have a lot of more like, and there are things that I was like, oh, this is going to be fantastic, and I put together and didn't work, and I'm like, okay, this didn't work, so let's not do it again. And I keep like improving a little bit every year. But there is no methodology. It's like, as I joke before the podcast, my mind is a blender, so it's like things just keep spinning, and I need to like sometimes give a pause and like, okay, I need to take this idea out of there, either to make it happen or to put it in the bin.
Right.
So yeah, I always say it. I did Bristol Coffee Festival as the festival that I would like to attend.
Okay, yeah.
So I always try to think of like the attendees, what they would like to come and find. I try to think about the baby baristas, because I was one at some point. I think about the exhibitors, like the people that need space to showcase their like new company product, and of course coffee. But you understand, like I try to open the doors as much as possible for everyone. But yeah, the idea is that Bristol Coffee Festival is the festival that I would like to attend. And also I'm really obsessed with novelty. I don't like to do the same thing over and over. So I always try to bring new stuff. Fun, challenge, things that people would think like, oh, I didn't think about it. Oh, this is a really nice idea. I like the idea of like the festival being slightly different every year. Even if the stands might look the same, the activities needs to change a little bit.
And I think that's important, because if you don't, I think in any business, or probably just in life in general, if you don't keep like evolving the thing, it's going to get stale, and people are going to become uninterested. And it's important to be moving with what's going on in the industry. And so this is year 3 of you running the festival. How do you think it's evolved in that time?
I think there was a level of me being naive in the beginning. So like with like the way that I build, the way that I believe people would take it. And it was like the first year was a great success, and I was like, it was good. I'm not saying anything different than that, but I think I pushed myself quite a lot to please people.
Yeah.
Which is like after the first year, when I kind of like learned the tricks and how things works a little bit better, I started like putting my foot down and being more like, no, this is how this needs to happen. And it's like over the year I told a lot of people off. I wasn't afraid to refuse things.
From the beginning, or from like
I would say from year 1 to year 2.
Okay. Yeah.
I was more like, no, this is my festival.
Okay.
This is my thing. Nobody's going to come here and tell me how to do things. I know how I want.
Okay.
And I think that it was one of the most important things, because as you know, and a lot of people knows, probably not everyone, but as you were joking, the festival is my side hustle. The festival is not here to make money, is to make something happen. So like, because I'm not driven by the profits, I also need to be protective with my values and my time. So a lot of times I'm like, this is not worth my time.
Yeah.
So sometimes like money, but with like someone that is coming and like in a difficult way, that it will cost me a lot of like negotiations and like back and forth and everything. It's not worth it for me. So and I think time is something that we should be really protective about, and not it as an industry, of course, as an industry, because people don't think about time when they price anything.
Yeah, absolutely.
But as people, you understand, like you if there is something, you can get a money back, you can't get a time back ever. So so I think the festival like is just more mature. It's like definitely over the years I try to get it more organized. I try to listen more to the feedbacks and make sure that is like everybody has a good time. That is the important thing for me. Like people come as exhibitors without having stress. Yeah. And as attendees having a good time.
Yeah, because exhibiting at a festival can be stressful.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I think it's something that actually a lot of people who work in that, having to do those festivals with work, it can be sold as a bit of a party and a good time, but like everyone needs to go and sit down in a really dark room for like a week afterwards. It's not all fun and games, and it's really stressful. And
that is one of the reasons why Bristol Coffee Festival is only one day festival.
Yeah, so nice.
Because like everybody needs the Sunday to rest. And it's like I always say it to people, like Bristol Coffee Festival under my administration is never going to happen on a Sunday. It's like I'm planning. I have big plans for like an extra day, but it's not going to be Sunday.
It's right. Okay. Yeah. Do you know what? That just made me think. 'Cause I was like, I think when I was working at Bristol Coffee Festival last year with Oatly, that I'm pretty sure that's the first. It's the first one-day festival I've ever worked at.
Normally, like most festivals are 2 days.
Yeah.
I just think in the second day the energy levels goes down.
I was just about to say, like, I think in terms of your energy as an exhibitor and what you can get, like, I mean, you're basically exhibiting yourself as the brand and whoever you're working with, right? It's so important that like what you're putting out, and not even just for your own company, but like for Bristol Coffee Festival, if everyone there who is exhibiting is in a great mood, has the batteries fully charged, you know, like I'm sure, you know, especially the festivals that are longer than 2 days, there's definite days in those schedules where you go around and everyone's just like, I cannot wait for this to be over. Get me out of here. Like, and you know, that affects the people that are coming to experience, you know, the festival as consumers, right? Yes. Which I'm sure I don't need to tell you. You're nodding along like this is all part of my plan.
No, but it is, because I truly believe it's not great. You understand? Like, that is the thing. I don't follow the models.
Yeah.
I follow what I believe. And I know a lot of times I see it, is that's like, when I do my marketing, I think about the time that I look on Instagram, the places that I pass on the street that are going to have posters. Of course, it's my experience, it's my brain. And also, like, I'm not a marketeer or anything. Right. I'm not a professional in that sense. So it's like, it's everything how I take. Not how everybody pursue. And I know a lot of exhibitors has asked me for a 2-day event, but I also believe not necessarily they think about how much more people are going to see them.
Yeah, but not what the quality
of
that is.
The quality of their own and the people that are coming.
Yeah, yeah.
And like one complaint that I had in the first year was that in the afternoon the level of energy went down, because in the first year was 31 degrees in Bristol.
Yeah, I've heard. Wasn't there, but lots of people have told me that was very hot.
Yeah, it was very hot. I think it was the main topic of conversation for a whole year. When people would mention Bristol Coffee Festival, the first thing would say, it was very hot.
Even the people talking to me, I think that was the thing. Hot. Oh, how was Bristol Coffee Festival?
It was
hot. It was hot. I was dying. Yeah.
Was the highest sale of merch through all of the events, because people wanted to change their t-shirts. So they
weren't sure where that was going. Then I was like, oh, okay. Because sweated through their clothes. Okay.
And they wanted to change, and they're like, everybody sold out their merch.
Wow. Okay. Well,
it was really funny.
Goodness.
But because it was really hot and nobody stayed for the afternoon, nobody came to the afternoon. So it was like the morning was packed, and then by 3:00 levels were going down. So it was like places like, I had espresso bar that people booked slots. Okay. So the people that were in the slots of the afternoon were like doing nothing, right? And that wasn't fair with them. So it was like, I changed the model. I didn't sell anything that was focused for exhibitors only to come in the afternoon, because I thought it wasn't fair with them. So you need to think about the level of energy, and you need to think what you are giving back to the exhibitors, because of course they are the ones that who come back and make your show interesting in the following year. So yeah, that's the reason why for me there is no option of doing something on Sunday. Also, like there is always a party on Saturday night, even if the last day is Sunday. So on either people are not going to enjoy the party, or they are going to enjoy and they are going to be even worse on Sunday. Hungover, which is like we know how to work hungover, but it's not fun.
Do you know what for me, my anxiety levels at festivals are already quite high, just naturally, because there's a lot of people, there's a lot of noise, and the other thing that doesn't do well with my anxiety levels is alcohol. But for some reason, it seems like the socially acceptable thing to be doing, especially at the bigger festivals as well, is like every night the expectation is to go out and
drink.
Yeah, which that was also a thing that was a first for me when we did Bristol, because it was like, I'm not working tomorrow, so I can actually like enjoy the evening and the Saturday.
Yeah,
it's
and
like
stay the whole Sunday in bed if you want.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you want.
Absolutely. It is astounding though, honestly, Joanna, about like what you've done, and hearing the amount of reflection and like making things better, and wanting to make things for the industry, and it being so industry centric, like Bristol Coffee Festival is genuinely like so great to hear. I also feel like I could talk to you about it for the whole podcast.
Oh yeah.
As we said, it's just your side hustle, so we'll have to move on.
Yeah.
Because your entry into the coffee world is an interesting one. Not the kind of, I don't know if there's a usual for anyone, but it's kind of like it's definitely a bit on the unusual side of the spectrum. If it's okay for me to say that, because you were working for 16 years in insurance.
Yes.
And that was in Brazil.
Yeah.
So your coffee journey actually started when you moved to the UK?
Yes.
And is it fair to say was like more of a necessity in the beginning, in terms of looking for other work and that not?
Yeah, like when I moved, one thing that I was sure is that I didn't work with insurance.
Okay.
And
left that behind.
Yes. I was like, I'm done with that. My last job in Brazil, I used to come home and cry saying I hate my job. So it's like, I always say, when you leave a job, even if you are ready for it, it's sad because you are leaving a routine, friends, everything behind, a desk. Like, it seems silly, but it's really true. Like, you are leaving a little part of your life there. Even if you're moving for something that you really want. I wasn't like this at all with my last job in Brazil. I was so happy. I was like ready to move on.
Right. Okay.
And then my degree is in social work. So I thought I could come and work with it in an entry level in UK and like make my degree worth.
Yeah.
So I started applying for a million jobs in UK, and I didn't even get an interview, even for the ones that I was like, I tick all of the boxes, nothing. And then I started thinking that it was because I needed a British reference.
Okay.
Because I never worked here, so all of my references were in Brazil. So I started, I was like, okay, I'm going to work in a cafe, like coffee. I'm going to work in a cafe to like, make my time like filled, but also to have a British reference, because I was like, if I have a reference from a coffee shop manager, it's something.
Sure.
And in this way I started working. I started like the first one was a little cafe in Bath.
Okay.
That wasn't like the greatest place in the world, and my husband is from Bath, so we were there. And then when we found a place to stay in Bristol, because I always wanted to come to Bristol, like since we decided to move back from Brazil to UK, I was like, we are going to Bristol.
Great.
And I even like the main reason at the time was because of the balloons, because as you can see, I'm obsessed with balloons. but also because there was an IKEA and I love IKEA and I don't even go there anymore. I don't remember the last time that I stepped on IKEA, but that was the two main reasons. It's big enough, it's not as small as Bath, has balloons, and there is an IKEA. Great.
IKEA. Okay.
I am sorted. Brazil does not have IKEA, so it's like...
Right. Yes, of course.
Yeah. And... but yeah, we moved to Bristol, and then I started like going in the coffee shops, and I started to work for Coffee Number One.
Yeah.
And that was actually where I fell in love with the coffee industry. I had a manager that she was like so good that's like she never made me feel small. She was really hard work. She would I say that people don't leave companies, they leave managers. And so if you have a good manager, you stay and you do everything that the person asks you, because like you trust that person is asking you because they actually need and not just to be petty.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I would do anything for Rosie. She was Rosie as well. She in a funny way, she worked with me as a barista after, when I was head of coffee in the Bristol Loaf, and she does work with me in the festival, like doing volunteering and the stuff with me. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. So yeah, and then she was really good. So I was like, oh, this is a nice place to work. So I want to work in coffee. So I want to progress here. And there is a space to progress. And people were happy for me to be progressing in the company, because like there is no much competition in that sense.
Yeah, okay.
In coffee, at least like in those chains. And like in this entry level, I'm not talking about like now I have more idea about the coffee world, but I'm talking about stay in a coffee shop, because people don't tend to stay longer. So there is no like as much competition as you have in office in insurance, which was one of my main issues. People would step on you to climb the ladder instead of like going together.
Yeah, instead of helping each other along. Yeah, okay.
So
that was refreshing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was happier cleaning the toilet in the end of the month in the coffee shop than I was like having meetings with like big oil and gas companies about their platforms and insurance and everything. Yeah.
The culture makes a huge difference, eh?
Yeah,
definitely. Yeah. And was it Coffee Number One you were at before you had to go back to Brazil to renew your visa?
Yeah.
Which didn't go to plan as we'd hoped. But that going back there actually meant that you had got even more interested in coffee, right?
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
So I went on holiday, which is like, I can say it now because on a public thing, because I have already my settlement done, but it's like they say you shouldn't book to take your visa, you shouldn't book flight tickets or anything until you have the answer. Right. But I went on holiday thinking that we have everything sorted, we pay for priority, things will get smooth and fine.
Why wouldn't they? Yeah.
So like we went to Brazil for which supposed to be 4 weeks. The first day that you arrived there, we went to the office to do like biometry and deliver the documents. They only touch my process, paying priority. They supposed to pick up my process before other processes. They only touch it 3.5 weeks after we were in Brazil. So it's like, of course, it didn't happen in the time that I was expecting. My husband got back to UK. I needed to tell my job that I wasn't coming back in that week. Yeah. But hopefully I would be back shortly. 2 months after, they sent me a letter saying they refused me to go back because was missing a bank statement in my process. We appealed they denied again. We needed to go for like request a hearing. We went to Brazil on the 2nd of February 2018. The hearing was booked for the 25th of January 2019. And we only knew we were accepted to have the hearing in August 2018. And then in August, I was like, okay, now at least I have a date. Because until then, I didn't have a date. I'm coming back. I don't know.
Yeah, how do I plan my life?
Exactly.
Right?
And once that they approve your visa, you have a month to come back. So it's like once that you have the visa in your hand, that visa is valid for 30 days.
Wow.
So I started working because I got this hearing booked, and I was like, okay, I can find a job because I know until January I'm stuck here.
Right.
So I started to work in a place called the Slow Bakery, which was really small at the time. Now it's much bigger. And they only did pour-overs.
Great. Sounds amazing.
Yeah, it was great.
Baked goods and pour-overs.
Yeah, and it's like the idea was to be slow, right? And not espresso. So it's like was only slow coffee.
Wonderful.
And there I learned about different methods of like filter coffee. So I was introduced to AeroPress, to Clever Dripper, to like different things. And also I had someone called Caterini, which is like still my friend nowadays. She's living in Zurich. She's amazing. She was like so into coffee, and she was like amazing sensory, and she knew a lot of people. So it was like she was like introducing me to a lot of people in the coffee world in Brazil, and
amazing.
like, oh, you need to come here. This person is the person of sensory in Brazil is Veronica Belchior, that now is working for the World Coffee Research. This person is, and it's like, and she was like grabbing my hand every day and taking me to meet people, and
incredible.
Yeah, she went to the World of Coffee in Brazil in 2018, and she met people from Zurich. So it's like she ended up going to work with them in the same year that I got back to the UK. So yeah, we went to coffee farms together. I did a roasting course. So it's like then I was like, okay, I'm going to use this time to dip myself into the coffee world. So when I'm back, I have knowledge, I have training, I have like experience. I can sell myself better.
Yeah. I mean, in that time, it's so cool that you were able to just go, right, I'm just going to focus on this thing because this is what I have this passion about, right?
Yeah.
In a time that, you know, you were back in Brazil, your husband was over here.
Yeah.
Like, that's not a trip you can just go, oh, I'll see you this weekend.
No,
like
no,
So
it was really, really hard.
Yeah.
Pete is still having like triggers from that time sometimes because like that was so uncertain that we would be able to be back together. Like, of course, like he could had moved to Brazil, but this would mean like breaking all of our plans, our future plans, because we always thought about having kids in UK, because I don't have my parents, but he has his parents, and they are amazing grandparents. So it's like was so like disturbing for our lives.
100%.
And and I just said like it wasn't easy to go and see each other, and
No.
So the visa finally came in 4 days before the hearing. They called him to say, I'm sorry, we made a mistake. She can come back.
Called him?
Yeah. Because like it was him. He was my representative.
Okay, right.
The person that would represent me in the hearing, because I couldn't come to the UK.
Right. Okay, sure.
So they called him to say like she can come back. And of course, like he's my sponsor. He was my sponsor. So it's like he needed, he was involved in the process. So they called him, and the hearing didn't happen. They issued my visa. When they sent me the letter to go and pick up my passport, when I got there and I opened my passport, the visa was expired. Because as I said, it was just a month.
Yeah.
So it was expired. So I needed to say no, this is not valid. You need to give me another one.
Okay, and did they?
Yeah, but then a week after.
Oh.
And then so I finally got back to UK in 8th of May 19, sorry.
That's my birthday.
8th of May?
Yeah.
Yes. Was when my flight was booked. I never forgot. And this was when I finally left Brazil to come back. And so I'm a year, 4 months after.
Wow.
Yeah.
But that time, as hard as it was and excruciating as it was, cemented your passion for the coffee industry and seeing it at origin and see how that was operating in Brazil. So you come back and kind of looking, okay, what are my next steps in the industry? Where am I going? What does that look like for you?
So when I got back, I tried to apply for different specialty coffees and everything. I think especially at the time, it's still quite what is the industry using to announce that they are hiring? Is Instagram, is Indeed, is Coffee Jobs Board, and of course Coffee Jobs Board is important in London, but it doesn't work quite well here. Also, I really wanted to work in a roastery, so I was kind of navigating through this, trying to find a place to work. I ended up going back to Coffee Number One.
Okay, yeah.
Where I worked in a different shop with a different team to be totally honest, I love it. It was we had such a good time together. But yeah, I stayed there for about 6 months. No, maybe a little bit less than this. I went to my first World of Coffee in Berlin. Shortly after, there was the Coffee House project that I volunteered as well. And then I went to work for Boston Tea Party. And then the pandemic hit.
Okay.
When the pandemic hit, I was already having conversations with the Bristol Loaf.
Right, yeah.
I supposed to have my trial shift in the day that lockdown was announced.
Wow, okay.
And then, of course, I texted my Gary, that she was the person the owner of the Bristol Loaf. And I said, are you still doing it? And he was like, nah.
We don't know what's going on.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
And of course, it didn't happen. And I was like, oh, this is not going to happen. We are going to die. Everybody's going to die. The war is going to end.
Everything's ending. Yeah, it's over.
And in that time was really interesting because I was so focused that I wanted to be head of coffee of a small chain in Bristol. And I was trying to see where this could happen. And at the time, Bristol Loaf only had one shop, and there was opening the second one. That I supposed to be head barista in this second one, and became head of coffee if the thing was going to keep growing. But then, with the pandemic, who knows?
Yeah.
If they were going to open another shop. So I started joining the core directive calls.
Yeah.
And this was another game changer in my life because I actually said it to Sierra that she started founded the core directive. That is she doesn't understand the impact that it had not just in my life. I know a lot of people that had been impacted by it. But we were talking with so many people in sometimes the whole world, not just in England, but people in Finland, in Germany, in the Netherlands, and everybody kind of locked up, right? And we were in meeting every single Wednesday morning and having a coffee and a chat together, and they would having a subject about what we are talking today. And that was really interesting. And they did a lot of movements putting pressure in the SCCA to be more diverse and more accessible, and that was really good. They were so good. Yeah, at the time the committee was Georgina from Irish and June, Jordan that now works for the World of Coffee, Jordan Harvey,
Yeah.
Easy, the Caffeine Galore, Camila Morgan. So just like
All
the
the great
top
people.
people.
Absolutely.
And yeah, they put so many things, great things together. And there's like, I really like got myself even more into the specialty coffee industry. But then the Bristol of like shortly after decided to open when things started. So I started having conversations again, and I ended up being hired to be the head barista in the second shop of the Bristol Loaf in Bedminster in Bristol. Yeah, and I was like super happy that I was going to do what I was like aiming to do, right?
Yeah.
Like starting something. I was opening a shop for the first time with someone, so it's like I could set up like where the cups would be, how the workflow would happen, and it was so nice. It was really, really enjoyable, and like, yeah.
And am I right in thinking that when you were going into that, you almost like set out your expectations of like what your goals were in the business?
Yeah.
Which I don't want to skip over because I don't
No.
know. Here's the thing. Maybe it's just not me. Maybe it's just me that's not doing that. But when you told me that that's what you did, I was like, yeah, like that's exactly what we should be doing. And especially in cafes as well. Like if we can go, hey, look, this is what I want to be doing in like a year's time, you know? What was that kind of process
so
like?
when I had this first conversation after lockdown, during lockdown, let's say, I said to him, I remember saying what was my salary expectation and saying like, this is for me an entry level, but it's like, as you want to open other shops, I want to grow with you and I want to become head of coffee.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, this is the plan. This is what we are thinking. I don't want to stop, blah, blah, blah. And then putting like a little bracket in the timeline, I discovered shortly after that I was pregnant.
Okay.
So I was hired. I discovered that I was pregnant. I waited until like I was 12 weeks and do the exams and make sure that everything was okay. I told him. And of course he wasn't like, he was fine, but he wasn't really impressed.
How dare you? How dare you've gotten pregnant?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
okay.
I think like he was under the pressure that like I knew when I accepted the job, and that wasn't the case.
Yeah.
Of course, we worked really hard to open the shop, and we opened the shop on a Saturday. I put myself on a shift for Saturday and Sunday. So Friday and Saturday I worked about 14 hours each day. Which means
and we're how many weeks pregnant at this point?
I was 16 weeks pregnant. So I on Saturday I completely collapsed, like tired and everything. On Sunday I went to work and I started feeling like pains.
Okay.
And I was like, yeah, but I'm really tired. It's like I've been working like crazy. It's normal. So I was watching like to see like my back was hurting. I was having like pain on my belly and having little bleeds over the day. And I was really like, and I had an appointment with the midwife on Tuesday. So I was like, I can't wait.
Right. Okay.
Because I am this kind of person.
Okay. Just pushing through.
Yeah,
you need that. You know, it's opening weekend.
Yeah.
Like
so in the end of the Sunday, the end of the shift, I was like helping tidying up stuff, but in so much pain because I spent the whole day, like every single time that I could breathe, because I was super busy, I was squatting like because of the level of pain. And then I went I said to the girls, like, people, I can't finish cleaning. Like, I finished cleaning the coffee station, but not like the floor and everything. And I like to like be the person to help until like the last thing, until we close the door, because I think, especially if you are in a leadership position, you need to set up the standards and like make sure that they see you doing as well, and not just demanding them to do.
I don't see you as someone checking out before everything's done, Joanna. I don't think that's probably ever. I don't know. I just get that vibe about you.
And then I said, like, I'm in a lot of pain. I really need to go home. And I went home cycling. I was in like, I lay down. I was in so much pain, and I just like collapsed, and I slept. When like in the middle of the night, I woke up and I kept feeling, and I thought it was gases. Yeah. And I was like, oh, I probably just need to like release it. And I keep like forcing myself. And then my water broke. And I ended up having a miscarriage in that evening. That night is like, was in the middle of the night. So yeah, it was pretty like brutal experience.
So that was basically you being in that pain while you were on shift opening the shop. That was... like labor happening?
Yeah.
Okay.
I got into labor. Yeah.
Well, first of all, I'm really sorry that happened, because obviously, like, that's such a traumatic experience, and also like the fact you were just pushing through and powering through.
Don't recommend it to anyone.
No,
please
don't try this at home.
No.
But kind of testament to the fact that that's what you'd been working for, right? These two realities of like what you were wanting out of life happening, at the same time, and almost them not being able to happen at the same time, which is so tough.
Yeah.
But I know, as you say that, it's very interesting that like we don't see pregnant baristas or people working in coffee shops that are probably 16 weeks pregnant. Do you think, is the coffee industry, is coffee a career for women? Is it a career they can do, for their whole life if they do want to have children?
I believe so. I think you can work in hospitality if you have children, if you're pregnant, but the adjustments need to be made. You understand? Like, you need to be flexible with the shifts. You need to consider that it's like there is a limit of like hours that the person can do. Maybe working the weekends are not going to be on the cards, because this person will need time, family time. Or maybe will be the opposite. You understand? We want to work one day in the weekend, so can have one day off during the week to do stuff. Anyway, there is so many like scenarios that you can play with, but it's like the adjustments need to be made by the owners, by the managers. And one thing that I always say is that people in hospitality in general need to break this idea of like, I've done it my whole life. I've worked every single weekend when I was young. I didn't go to any of the parties. I did. It's like, yeah, but it's like, it wasn't nice.
Yeah.
So don't do with other people what wasn't nice for you. You understand? Like, it's the whole thing of like, parents saying like, my parents did it with me and I haven't died. And it's like, yeah, but the goal is not to kill your baby. It's the opposite.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like, this is about everything, right, Rosie? It's like, treat others how you would like to be treated. Don't like think that it's like, oh, but I've done it, so they can do it. It's like sometimes people are not able to do those things. A good manager should be able to access the strengths and the weakness of the team and work on it, and not just like think that everybody should follow a model. because it's not how it works.
No.
People need to follow standards, and I'm not in any kind of way saying that like you need to leave things go loose. It's not about it. Standards is one thing, putting people in boxes is another. So like with parents work in hospitality should be one of the most attractive places to work, right? Because you can maybe make it fit in the school runs. Maybe you can make it fit in the days that the person have like nursery. Maybe you can make it and go on and on and on. But it's like you need to sit with that person and make it work. And what I see is a lot of times people respect young people because they have university. But it's like it's kind of like parents need to make some kind of like magic with their time because
and I wonder if because it feels like it's generally more of a system that works for, say, students, because it's almost the expectation of students will work in cafes alongside their studies, but maybe we're just not quite there yet, especially in this country, of like seeing that hospitality can be a lifelong career. You know, working in cafes can be a lifelong career, but I don't think we're really seeing it as that. And it's like, which one comes first? Is it that like we have to be demanding like, well, no, if you can work around a student's, you know, university schedule, you can work around a parent's schedule with like working 9 till 3 or, you know, whatever works with that. But I don't think we see being a barista or working in coffee shops as something for people over the age of 30. And I feel like it's something that I've experienced, you know, working in cafes and people kind of being like, oh, what are you studying? It's like, oh, no, that was about 10 years ago, but thank you. Just because they can't believe that you would be doing it because that's what you want to do as a career, right? Yeah, it's a system that's weirdly not built at the moment, I think, for people long term, and I think especially women long term, because, you know, men are fathers as well, but, you know, in terms of like pregnancy and that kind of thing, and you almost saying before, like, you could kind of sense from your boss that maybe that wasn't what he was hoping for, was going to be some sort of distraction from the grand plan or whatever. Like, there's not a huge amount of flexibility.
No, not at all. And as I wasn't like so strong about the way that I wanted things to go in my career, probably I would had quit during my maternity leave, as I saw a lot of people doing. Right. So it's like, it sounds like I'm jumping a step now because of course I'm going straight to being pregnant again. But in the middle, what's happened was, this happened in September 2020. And then in January, we had another lockdown, bad lockdown in December.
Yeah.
With, I forgot the name of the variety of the like COVID.
Oh, yeah. What's when we had the like tier system or whatever, wasn't it?
Yes.
When like, certain people can see their families at Christmas, but then other ones can't. Yeah, cool.
And then in January, I had another conversation with him when things started easing off. And I said, like, okay, it's time to start talking about, like, increasing my salary, blah, blah, blah. And that was really funny because he said to me, it's like, so you are asking me for, because I don't remember, I said something about I said I didn't want, because he put the key on my hand of the shop. And I said, yeah, I can have the key. But this became me being a shop manager as well, on the side of being a barista, a head barista.
Right.
And there was a moment that I was like, I'm not here for it. I'm here to work with coffee.
Yeah.
As I wanted to be a shop manager, I got tons of offers for this for way more money.
Yeah.
This is not my goal. Once that you become manager, you get away from the coffee machine, and this is not my goal.
That's not what you wanted.
So he said so you're asking me for more money and less, and I was asking for increase of 50p on my hour rate.
Okay.
You're asking me for more money and less work, and I was like, potentially, yeah, if you want to see like that, it's fine. Yeah. And then fast forward, this happened. I got my pay rise, if you can call it. Fast forward, I got pregnant again of my first son when he was opening the shop in the Bristol Beacon.
Right.
So I discovered that I was pregnant. Again, I was waiting for the exams and everything. One day I opened my phone to show one person in the shop a picture of a coffee that I made, and there was the picture of my pregnancy test open. Of course, I changed, but this person was directly linked to him, so she told him for sure. He started having conversations with my barista, that was my second in command, about being the person responsible for the shop that he was going to open. That he was kind of the trigger for me to become head of coffee. So when we agreed that I was accepting this job, wasn't just to be a head barista, was for when he was opening a new shop, I would become head of coffee. So I kind of when I discovered all of these things, I said it to my friend, my other baristas, I'm sorry, but he promised me this, and I'm going to make him to keep this promise.
Yeah, so absolutely.
I told him that I knew about the shop. I came to see the space with him and with the roaster that he was setting up the equipment and everything. And then in that day, I told him that I was pregnant. But before I told him, I am your head of coffee. Don't take it away from me.
Yeah.
And he needed to stay. It's he's not a really combative person.
Okay.
So it's I knew how much I could push my way through. So it's he needed to keep it, because he wouldn't argue with me about
you
it.
Also can't really argue with that. You know what I mean? Well, that's what was agreed.
Yeah.
You know? And was it was after that time then that you were in a meeting and you were talking about, was it that boss that said when are you leaving for maternity leave? And you said a certain date, and that date was your due date.
Yeah. Yeah, he said it was a meeting with all of the head of departments. I was 8 months pregnant, and he said so who is going to be in your place, blah, blah, blah. I started saying that. He was like, okay, and when is your due date? And I said 23rd of October. And no, he said, when are you leaving? And I said 23rd of October. And he said, and when is your due date? And I said 23rd of October. And he looked at me, he's like, Joanna, babies comes early. And I was like, not mine. Because I like to have this idea in my head that I can control things. And the universe keeps showing me, laughing on my face and showing me, no, you can't. It's it happened with the visa, happened with everything in my life, everything. And then the following day, was my first 2 days off in a row. I had days off before that, but it's my 2 days off in a row. So I started putting my house down to sort things out. So I had vacuum cleaner. I was sewing because why not just sew a furniture when you are 8 months pregnant? So I was there cutting the legs of a table that I wanted shorter, things like that.
Just the essential jobs
It's
around
just
the house.
essential, but the house was like upside down.
Okay,
But
great.
I was like, no, but I need to rest. So I put like an alarm to like sit in for 15 minutes every hour and a half and have some water and I have a snack to like keep me going. I had my lunch. After my lunch, I started feeling sick.
Okay.
This was about midday, half midday. And then I started feeling really sick. And then I was like, oh, damn it. Why did I eat that? And it's like, it was kind of like I ate my lunch and then I had a cereal bar because I was still hungry. And it was kind of like, oh, the problem was the cereal bar for sure.
Right, of
And
course. Yeah, as cereal bars do. Just make you feel nauseous.
Exactly. And then I was in a call with my best friend that lives in Denmark. And she was like, Joanna, aren't you in labor? And I was like, I might be. And I was like having really strong contractions, really strong contractions, and in a really short period. So she was like, call the hospital. And I called the midwife suite and they were like, stay on the phone with me so I can count, because like it didn't make too much sense for them that my contractions started like half midday. This was 1 o'clock and I was like with so short contractions.
Right.
And I was like with less than 1 minute interval between them. And they were like, come to the hospital. And then I called my husband and said like, I need to go to the hospital. I think Arthur is coming. And then
I like that you called him like after all of it. Like, so yeah, it's all been happening, but
no, but I wanted to make sure. It's
you
like
wanted to make sure, of
yeah.
course, yeah, no false alarms.
And then he was like, go to the hospital. I meet you there. And I was like, no, I can't do it.
Oh, really?
I need you here.
Okay.
And then I don't know, the idea of going by myself in we didn't drive at the time, so I needed to get an Uber, and there's like I just wanted him next to me. And then he was like, Joanna, please go to the hospital. And I was like, no, I will wait for you. And then I don't know why, but I waited for him in my pajamas. I was in my pajamas. And when he arrived with the Uber waiting outside, I decided to change my clothes. And the Uber left. And the Uber left, of course. Anyway, I got in the hospital. They looked at me and they said, you are not in labor.
Oh.
And I was like, what is going on? And I had a bowel obstruction. So when I was a baby, I had a bowel obstruction. I need to take half of my intestine out. So it's like my bowels. I never know the exactly difference.
No idea.
The fat one.
The fat one. Okay. The fat
So
one
I
was
have
removed.
exactly. So I have only half of it, and I have a big scar on my tummy. The tissue under my skin of this scar was pushed into my bowels when my uterus was growing and made everything tangled again. So like imagine like a headphone, like a really thin wire in your pocket. Even if you make it really tidy, when you put inside your pocket, it kind of like it tangles.
Yeah. Okay.
Was what happened. So I spent 24 hours in the hospital until they confirmed it. And they needed to take me to surgery. And because of this, they needed to bring my son out 7 weeks earlier.
Wow. And this was
the day after.
The day after you said that
Not
you'll
my
be
son.
working until the due date, because that's when it's happening.
Yes.
Oh.
So yeah, Arthur was born on the 10th of September 2021. Yeah.
I think that may be your son. That actually, I think it was possibly the first time that I met you, and will remember it forever. That I think it was at a society event in Cheltenham.
This was the second one. This was Benjamin.
Oh, that was the second one. I mean, he was pretty new.
Yeah.
He was like, what, a couple of weeks, if that? You were at the event at Throwdown at Society with your lovely newborn son on your chest.
In the carrier. Yeah. I like when I decided to do Bristol Coffee Festival, I was pregnant of Benjamin. So when the Arthur turned 1, always was our plan to have them close to each other, because I am really close to my sister, and also like I am old, so it's like I was already 40 when Arthur turned. I was about to turn 40 when Arthur turned 1, so it's like I didn't want to wait too long.
Sure. Yeah.
So and then I became pregnant in the first month, of course. So when I decided to do Bristol Coffee Festival in November that year, I was pregnant of Benjamin. So Benjamin was born in June of the first year of Bristol Coffee Festival. So in the day that we met before, we met in Radical. Was
that before?
I was pregnant. It was a week before Ben was born. I was really heavy pregnant. So it was that event was the 2nd of June.
Yes, I remember that because at Radical, it was like any minute.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's like another thing of like
was 4 days he was born, that event.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So the first 2 times I met you, essentially, you either were like about
inside
to give birth,
me or outside
just
me,
giving birth.
Yeah, just pretty much like just outside me. Yeah, he was just a few weeks old, so it's like, of course, all of my meetings for the first Bristol Coffee Festival was either heavily pregnant or I hidden it for ages. While I was talking to sponsors, I didn't show my belly. I was like using loose clothes or like doing video calls that they wouldn't see under here.
Why?
Because I thought people wouldn't believe. And even like I had women making comments as like when they saw after committing and everything, after they saw I was pregnant, kind of like really surprised and like how you're going to do it.
But do you think were you wanting to hide it from people, like when you were talking to sponsors or exhibitors or whatever, because you were worried they may think, oh, she's not capable of this?
She's not going to deliver, because like he wants that she's
going to deliver the baby, not the festival.
Exactly. Pretty much.
They obviously don't know you well enough.
No. No.
Of course. But it is like we're laughing about it, but it's such a pertinent topic, I think, because we don't see it, and I think the fact that we kind of don't see pregnant women with newborn children, whether that's something that people would want to do, go to an event, when they're heavily pregnant or when they've just given birth, whether that is what they want to do or not, like, does it really feel like a feasible option, for women at the moment, like that they can do that? Because you're saying you had a little bit of judgment around that, like people, underestimating what you can do work-wise.
I think, honestly, my main tip for pregnant women, especially with their first one, is like follow your guts. Because the fact is, there is a brilliant scene in the Barbie movie that the girl said, doesn't matter what you do, you will always be criticized.
Right.
So it's like,
absolutely.
if you are a mom that you decided to stay home and enjoy your babies, what is like I fully support you should do. It's amazing, and the pass is really quick. I really miss my newborns. I don't want more kids, but I really miss them being like babies. Oh. Pass is so quick. Do it.
Yeah.
And like stand to your grounds, because doesn't matter, people will criticize you. If you decided to not to stay at home and do something like small, big festival, doesn't matter, they will find a way to criticize you. And I think in my job with the festival is try to give platform for, and that is what you are doing as well, for people that is like, it's more on the spot of being criticized.
Right.
You understand? Like, so like I always try to like bring different people to the stage, and like bring like give them voice.
Yeah, yeah.
And but yeah, I don't know, like they don't know me enough, definitely. I don't know how much I think people should do the same that I'm doing, because I don't know how healthy it is. I know it's like
Sure, yeah.
cost me a lot, and that I said it to people this year, as I said to you, like this year I'm more like, it's this way, you want or you don't, it's going to happen. And I said like to quite a few people for different reasons, I give my time to this project. I give my time with my kids. I give my energy that I should spend with them. You understand, like, and I give to this project. I know it's my decision, and that is what I'm saying. I don't know how much people should do what I do. I don't think I should be praised for it as much as sometimes people make, because it's not healthy.
But I think
But yeah, it's like people should respect.
yeah, exactly.
You
They should
understand,
respect it. But I think also kind of showing people that it is also a choice for them. Like, and I think it, when we look at the industry and we look at ratios of gender and how that also applies to age, that do we end up losing a lot of women from the industry once they get to, you know, their late 30s, early 40s? And I have to start thinking about this because it's, you know, because they're not considering that they can, there's flexibility for them when they're pregnant, or they're not considering that there's flexibility for them when they've, you know, just given birth. And that's not us saying, hey, you should get out there and go to events with your 3-week-old newborn. Your experience just highlights that flexibility should be the choice of the individual. You know, it's not for someone else to say, oh, you've just given birth, why are you at this event? Or why are you here when, you know.
I have a idea that is like, you see a lot of baristas women, but you don't see them going up to the ladder. So I think they lose credibility quite a lot. So in a lot of senses, and what happened is you have like the entry level, it's majority women, but the champions are majority men.
Yeah.
Because like, I think the gap here is judgment and confidence. You understand? Because we question ourselves
and
100% of the time. If we like, I don't know, you were saying about your dress when you came, and I'm sure you put a lot of thinking when you packed this dress. I put a lot of thinking about what I was going to wear today.
Yeah.
I put a lot of thinking about my time today and how I was going to be presented, what I was going to say, what I wasn't going to say. And it's like our brain doesn't stop.
Yes.
And that this became a barrier for our confidence.
Yeah.
You understand? Because then like you doubt yourself so much. Can I do it? How much? Because we are so judged all the time. That's like how people are going to see me.
Absolutely.
How I'm going to like show myself to the world if I do it, if I don't do it, if I do this step, if I wear shorts too short, if I wear like skirts too long, if I wear.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And then it goes on and on and on and on. So it's like, yes, we don't see woman aging because like, again, you have like so many barriers. People don't include them. People don't make the adjustments. I have a really good example of like, if you translate it to coffee shops. Coffee shops have the choice of make it child friendly or not, right?
Sure.
And there's like a lot of times like they say like, oh, doesn't fit the environment, having a child crying and this and that and that. You are a child. You are not excluding someone else. You are excluding your own mother. you need to make spaces available. You need to make arrangements. You need to make, and this goes like from coffee shops to employees, to managers, to journalists talking about it, to everyone.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
we all been there.
Yeah.
We all came out of a woman's body. There is no, like, you can think like there is this new thing in United States, like Handmaid's Tale guy that is like talking how the woman is only a vessel. Yes, but you wouldn't, sorry, my bad words, fucking be here if you wasn't a woman.
Crazy. Actually, yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
No.
It doesn't make any sense.
No, so like
all.
it's excluding women of like your business anyhow is really damaging for everyone. A woman that is like passing through a cafe and can't use the toilet, or the toilet doesn't have a changing table, and it's like it's really hard. You can really damage someone's like day, and sometimes create traumas just with the fact that a cafe doesn't accept like babies. Anyway.
Absolutely. No, I'm like, yeah, what you've said about accessibility at all levels is so important, and even what we have to consider about how we're perceived. It's taking up so much space in our minds, and not just down to what we wear, but likability, and like, you know, like we, as like a leader, you can't be too authoritative, because if you are to do that, then you're going to come across as not likable. And like there's studies that show that men that aren't likable can kind of get quite far. Just look at presidents, or you know, that kind of thing. But actually I actually read something about that recently, which I thought was so interesting, that, you know, one of the reasons that a female president has never happened is because men don't need to be likable to be considered authoritative. But when women start becoming authoritative, there's like this dislike that's put onto them. They are never going to win, because for a president you need to be like, it just doesn't work. I feel like I could actually talk to you forever, Joanna.
Oh, me too.
And I'm sure we will a bit off camera, but I also am very aware that you've got a lot of planning, and not planning, execution to be doing over the next couple of weeks for your side hustle, as well as your normal job and everything else. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Oh, it's amazing. It's so good to talk to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for being a part of it, and good luck with Bristol Coffee Festival.
Thank you so much. I can't wait to have you there.